from the Asian Community Development Council. This is Family in Focus, Mondays at 12 noon on PHLV Radio.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Family in Focus, brought to you by the Asian Community Development Council, or ACDC. And we're here on PHLV Radio every Monday, live at noon. So thank you so much for joining us on this show today. And the topic for today, we're focusing on the Festival of Lights. A celebration, of course, celebrated all over the world, but here in Southern Nevada as well. Very important to especially specific communities from South Asia who are represented here in Southern Nevada. And we're here with a group that is behind this Festival of Lights coming up this coming Saturday. Radhika Kanal, she is the co-founder of the South Asian Women's Alliance of Nevada, or SWAN LV. So she's the co-founder of this organization putting on this event. We also have Asta Mehta. She's also joining us on the show today. She is the chair, executive board member of SWAN LV. And also we have Anshal Rajdev, who is the cultural and community outreach secretary for SWAN LV. So thank you so much for all of you for joining us on this show today. Very exciting to have all of you here because this organization, SWAN LV, just started in September, much needed in the community for a while now. And I wanted to first speak to Radhika. And Radhika, nice to have you here. And you've been very active, obviously, in the community for years. But to start this organization and now being behind this event that is also sponsored by ACDC this coming Saturday, this must be very exciting. So Radhika, tell us a little bit about, first of all, this organization, SWAN LV. Who's behind it and why is this organization so needed?
Absolutely, Petronio. Let me start with thanking you for giving this opportunity. As you know, we've been in the community for a while, and it's always wonderful to come chat with you. And I am actually very excited and grateful to be on this platform with you. I know we've worked together in many different areas, but this is nice and amazing that ACDC is providing this platform for us to talk about everything related to families and family issues. So thank you for doing this. And thank you for having us here. And now going back to your question, who and why? As you know, when I ran for office last year, and my experiences during that time and my experience of living in Vegas has created this space where we could use a lean-in platform for women from South Asia. And having conversations with other community members and of different generations that who have lived here for at least 30 years, to someone like Ancho, who just moved here last year, or someone like Asta, who's born and raised here. So having conversations with several groups and women from different women who bring various life experiences has made it clear that we need a space, a platform for South Asian women to lean in, to unify us. And the highlight of this group is that as much as South Asians have very different cultural backgrounds, as you can understand and also relate to. We are all, as AAPIs, South Asians are a group of AAPIs, but as AAPIs, which is Asian American Pacific Islanders, we're not a monolith. We bring in different cultures together, yet we have so many unifying factors, which are both culturally can be emphasized both culturally and also as we live in traditions. So one of those unifying factors for us is the Festival of Lights, which is celebrated all across Asia per se. As you know, it's been celebrated for more than 2,000 years. China, there's a festival that's celebrated in China. And as to emphasize on the South Asian and Southeast Asian festivals, they're called by different names, called like Diwali, of course, is celebrated by Hindus in India and Nepal. It's also called as Tihar, Swanti, Sohra. There's like number of names for it, but the unifying factor is celebrating harvest or celebrating evil, good over evil. Give it different names, but the purpose is to bring the communities together. So that uh, emphasis or that need to identify the unifying factors so we can strengthen our community is the basis or the foundation for wanting to bring together to make this as a more organized entity. And we launched SWAN in September with amazing support from our Commissioner Jones. He was at our launch event. We had a great response, and that was a wonderful launch that led to this Festival of Lights event.
Yeah, congratulations, by the way, for that organization, and as part of this community and being with, working with the Asian Community Development Council. I know they're very supportive of all different Asian American communities. And it's great to see an organization like SWAN come about, especially because, as you said, it's so important to elevate those voices, right, that we don't often hear enough of. And I know with SWAN, you're talking about empowering, leaders in the community, provide mentorship to the South Asian community. And as you said, there's so many groups coming, especially now with Nevada, especially Las Vegas being so diverse. I wanted to bring Asta Mehta into the conversation here, and you're joining us from home today. And Asta, talk to us a little bit about your involvement with this group. I know you were born and raised here, and I'm sure you've seen how diverse, right, and especially how it's changed with over the years. And talk to me a little bit about your background and why you're so passionate about this organization.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me, first and foremost. So, I've grown up in a very Caucasian dominated areas. And so having a community, a South Asian community I was never really surrounded by people of like-minded people. So when I heard Swan was coming up and they were looking for people to join, I immediately jumped on this.
Mm-hmm.
It's really important to remember your roots, where you come from, and be surrounded by similar folks. So that's kind of one of the reasons why I really was passionate about this and wanted to join SWAN. In addition to, we wanted to create mentorships and, reach out to the community so we could just bring in, different people from the South Asian background, but not only our South Asian background, but educate the rest of the community about our culture. And I thought that was incredible and extremely important, as I never had anything like that growing up. And
Mm-hmm.
I would really love, to see our culture spread throughout our community. And that was kind of the biggest motivator for me to be a part of SWAN.
And what is your background? And when you grew up here, you said it's not, you're not really kind of maybe being around people from your similar backgrounds, right? And that's why you wanted to change, maybe younger people coming along here.
Yeah. So I was actually born in West Virginia, and I grew up, I did about 6 years in Mississippi and then another 8 to 10 years in Reno. So the South Asian community wasn't very large in these areas, and we were always considered minorities. So it was harder for me, to not only make friends, but to just kind of find my place in the world and really educate the community that I was in about my culture, because
Mm-hmm.
they didn't have very many South Asian people. So they didn't understand, our festivals, our roots, why we do certain things. So that's kind of where you know, where I kind of want to join this and spread the word about that, because I've always had to teach people about where I come from,
Right.
what I stand for, what the South Asian culture really is. And I think a lot of people have misconceptions about it. And when you clarify it, they really think it's such a beautiful and, culture in itself. And there's so many different aspects you can teach about it, and people really enjoy it, but, they definitely want to learn more. And that's what I think is amazing and beautiful about SWAN.
Yeah, and I think that's the goal of this event coming up on this Saturday, this Festival of Lights, the first one actually organized, and it's going to be at the Clark County Government Center Amphitheater at 4 o'clock, 4 to 8, Saturday, October 23rd. This is a free event for the community. The folks behind SWAN LV working with community members. The presenting sponsor, Commissioner Tix Legalwom, is going to be there, and he's, among the people supporting this event. I wanted to bring Anshal Rajdev into the conversation here. So, Anshal, you're part of SWAN as well. Talk to me a little bit about your background and how you got to be involved in this group.
Yeah, actually, to be very true, that's quite interesting, because I moved in to the Las Vegas last year from India. And, for me, it was not just a cultural transition, but huge transition in all. And when I moved here, unfortunately, we already had pandemic, so that had limited, me to the resources and the people all the way more. So I'm a person who's always been involved in the community things and doing such stuff. But when I moved here, I thought there was huge gap for this, and I'm so grateful to to Radhika and other people who come up with this idea of SWAN, because I believe when we talk about South Asia, we have a lot of regional similarities, but at the same time we are we are very different. So a lot of people, as Asma mentioned, have a very different perception of us, and so I didn't want to other people to face the difficulty I had. So I had faced. So it was more of be the change you want to see in the world. And when I got to know about the opportunity, I still wanted to be a part of it, to help other women also to become the ambassadors of South Asia, to, let the people know how enriched our culture is. And at the same time, to have the network I could, reach out to. Maybe for a very small thing, normal resources, or maybe as big as some immigration issues. But I know that, it's one point that I reach to. And yes, I have a family, I have a community too, which I can look forward to look at too.
Yeah, and you just moved here from India. So when you first got here to Las Vegas, were you anything that surprised you about the Indian community or the South Asian community? Did you expect such a vibrant group here in Southern Nevada?
Oh, yeah. So firstly, I was not aware that we have such a large community in here. I was expecting myself to be the one of the few handful ones, but to my surprise, we do have a lot of people, right? We just need to, I think, get them together. And another thing that I love, which is not related to South Asian community, but people are quite supportive here. So even if we talk about, SWAN, people have come out to help us, to sponsor, to be part of this, to volunteer, which has really taken me.
Yeah. So, Radhika, it must be so great to have people, stepping up and support you. But how important is it for you to see this, and especially as a woman, as a people of color, just to have this diversity right now is something that you're hoping to see more of, right, in our community?
Absolutely, Pachania. As you know, South Asia has 8 countries. It's in that chamber that the region is defined by 8 countries: Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Nepal, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and Maldives. Did you know there are at least 200 to 300 Nepalese families here? I didn't know about it until I started looking into it and talking to people. And the beauty of it is the minute we talk to groups about potentially creating this an entity or an organization to bring women and put with women in the leadership roles, but actually reaching out to everybody in the community. The response we got is amazing. I am actually humbled and honored to share that on our executive board, on our three wings of the board, we have representatives from every country except for Maldives, and we are working on Bhutan, but all other 6 countries who have a reasonable representation here. Reasonable, I mean, it's as small as 300 to 400 families. We still are able to get representation from them, which is what is very humbling and heartwarming that within a short time we got this response, which also speaks to the need, the hunger that everyone has to actually put our culture, talk about, create a space to elevate all these voices. And as you know, Nevada is one of the, actually the third most diverse state in the country, with Asians, APIs representing upwards of 10% in Clark County. So, yes, it is humbling. And it is also a very proud moment because we can proudly say that every wing of our board is represented, quite well represented. And you will see that on Saturday. So you will come experience this on Saturday too. So great involvement. And going to a quick pointer and a shout out to what Anshul alluded to, is the community support. As soon as we talked about this, ACDC obviously jumped on it. Rita was extremely supportive, helpful. Yuri, everybody from ACDC were excited to be part of this. And so are the leadership. The elected leadership is also extremely supportive. We had sponsorships. So we great shout out to all our sponsors. Most of them are commissioners and the elected leaders who are highlighted on our website. But without them, this wouldn't be possible. But on the flip side also, it shows the amazing community we live in. That's called Las Vegas. It definitely is home in Nevada for all of us.
Yeah, and it's so great. We see so many of these community events now highlighting different cultures and different traditions and adding now Festival of Lights to it. I think it'll be really great. So, Asta, talk to me a little bit about what people can expect when they head out to the Clark County Government Center Amphitheater on Saturday. What usually makes up this Festival of Lights? What can you see there?
Yeah, so I'm not going to give too much away because I want it to be, exciting for everyone and have some of those expectations. But definitely they will see different cultural events of the 8 different countries that make up South Asia to kind of see the similarities and differences of our Asian community. And definitely there'll be lots of good food and different fun little vendors there that'll have, again, representing their country. And definitely we'll have good music playing. And more than anything, you'll really just see the community coming together, the South Asian community and the greater Las Vegas community just coming together and being there, and everyone just, interacting and having a good time. So that's kind of like the biggest things to expect.
Yeah, and then you said you grew up in places that don't necessarily have events or even communities that highlight this. How would it feel to, not just be part of this, but just to kind of be there and maybe inviting friends who are not from, South Asia or don't have that roots and just to come experience all of this together?
Yeah, it definitely feels great. It feels humbling and, it makes you feel proud. It makes you feel proud of where you come from, your roots, everything you've been like the environment you've been raised at your own home, to share it with other people who aren't necessarily South Asian. It makes you feel proud of where you come from. And I think that's the biggest thing that Swan does. And I feel proud to be a part of it because we're really wanting to empower the younger generation, especially as females. You're always trying to fit in and you're trying to find your way in the world. And then when you throw in this other obstacle of, being from a different culture, it does make it a little harder. So being able to share this with my close friends, with their friends who aren't even a part of the South Asian culture, it just makes you feel really proud. It's like, this is something I can contribute to our community. And I think that's the biggest thing I take away from being South Asian.
No, that's great. And Anshul, you're the Cultural and Community Outreach Secretary for this group now, and you just moved here from India, where, of course, the Festival of Lights, Diwali, a big part of your culture there. How do you feel, what kind of things do you want to bring to this event so that people really understand your culture? And I'm sure this is very special for you, just moving here from India, right?
Oh, absolutely. I am super excited for it, because all these years we have been celebrating it at a very, very large scale. So, like the way people wait for like Halloween or Christmas out here, we do the same for Diwali. And you can make out like when you go to the Asian countries, especially India, where it's all lightened up and everything. So when we come up with this idea in the country, I was like, oh yes, let's do it. Yeah, and let's let the Las Vegas be part of it and see how rich our culture is. And how do we do things in a very unique and different manner. And we are like super excited to present all the 8 countries with their own respective cultures and performances. So we have different all the countries performing in their own way. So some would be doing the fashion shows representing their culture with their clothes, and we are involving even the kids, which is like another plus to it. And when we have those little ones like adding and excited to present, it like adds on to the excitement. We have like few of the dance performances which will be representing each of the country. And apart from that, like you will get everything. It will be one workshop where you have like different cuisines to try, different music. We have piled up like all the music from different cultures, having a own tinge of it. And the best part would be everyone would be dressed up in their own way. And in fact, on that note, I would request like people listening to us and people who are coming to event that why don't you dress up in your ethnic wear? So we would love to have different cultures and representing different communities coming all together to elevate this.
That's great. Yeah, definitely. Even if you don't have a South Asian outfit, come in your own ethnic costumes, right, to be part of this.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We'd like for everybody to wear their own ethnic, but basically be proud of who you are and present in your ethnic wear. We are encouraging that, obviously. And that is, and then in adding to Anchal's thing, we'll also have a lot of activities for kids to get involved, like writing, drawing rangolis. And of course, we'll have Bollywood music. Who doesn't like Bollywood music, right? Bollywood music for dance, and we'll have a dance floor. We'll also have the highlight firework display. So I think that will be very exciting as well. And it will be something for everybody. There will be something for everybody. And we are excited to put this together. And we actually are looking forward to it. And we're looking forward to having everyone there to just take that evening. It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful evening. Per Weather Channel, I'm just going by what Weather Channel says, and let's hope it stays that way. It will be a beautiful evening to come celebrate with food, dance, culture, and everything, all things together.
Yeah. And Radhika, I know, these kind of events are so important for you because big part of your mission, and I know you just graduated from law school as well, so congratulations on UNLV. So you're such an active part of this community, not just the Indian American, but also just in general. But in terms of being, Swan, and especially, looking to help young people, especially women, what do you want to put out there for the community, especially young people who are listening, of what you stand for and what you think, these kind of events can help in terms of getting young people to raise their voices and really be proud of their culture and heritage?
So our mission and our goal is to encourage women to be cultural ambassadors. Cultural ambassadors could mean many which ways. One biggest, of course, my personal interest is getting them to get involved civically, get engaged in the civic process, because even through our own experiences, we've learned that there is that gap between the number of people and people actually getting involved in the civic aspects of life. Mm-hmm. So our goal is to encourage this next generation to get more and more involved and engage civically, and of course to increase representation in the community for different aspects. There are so many areas where South Asians are not in the representative forms at all. So that would be an ultimate goal. But at the beginning of it, at the starting part of this, if we can provide a platform for creating that continuity for the younger generation to reach out to who are looking for mentors, who are looking for some sort of guidance, who are even looking for accountability. For example, within our group, there are few girls and women. I guess I start calling them girls. I have to be an Asian auntie sometimes. You can't take it out of us. Who are aiming to go to law school. So we are working on creating accountability groups so they can have this setup where, all right, I'm not doing this alone. Or even if I'm doing with other group, there are people like me, who look like me, who eat like me, who think like me, are also in the same boat. So it could be as simple as that, helping each other as an accountability group. Or the other end is we have a group who's interested in providing a support network for domestic violence and child abuse victims. So that's another group. And we obviously, as you know, we also have a group who are providing a legal network kind of resources. So we would like to be that group. And actually, that's one part of it. But the more important part is actually we would like for everyone to come together and create this network or a friendship, lean in group to support each other as we go through our daily processes. As much as we are proud of our roots, we also live here. So there are a lot of challenges associated with both from where you come from and both where you're going to. So yes, that's our goal.
Well, I think a good start is to have this event. The first Festival of Lights, we'll put up some information for people. Again, if you want to attend, this is happening this coming Saturday, October 23rd from 4 to 8 p.m. at the Clark County Government Center Amphitheater. That's at 500 South Grand Central Parkway in Las Vegas, a free event. And you're still looking, Radhika, for vendors, right? For people to come and be part of this event as well.
Absolutely. We're looking for vendors and especially anyone who has ethnic background and they want to bring in their creations and artists. If it's a woman owned and women sponsored, we would like to support them even more. Absolutely. Please give us a call. My number is 702-570-2900. That's on the flyer as well. But at this moment, I also would like to give a huge, humongous shout out to all our sponsors. ACDC is one of them, the Commissioner Jones, Commissioner Segerbloom, and our Congressman Horsford. And we have several electeds and our local community leaders like Dr. Nadeem and Dr. Mehta, Ms. Feda, and many more. So we can do this. So we could not have done that without the help of these amazing sponsors. And vendors can still reach out to us. Yes.
That's great. Well, thank you so much, Radhika, and also Asta Mehta and Anshal Rajdev, all parts of this organization called Swan LV that just launched here in September. You can find more information online. And Radhika, what is the website that people can go to find more information about Swan?
SwanLV.org, www.swanlv.org.
Very easy. All right, Radhika, thank you so much.
And wear your ethnic wear. I would like to see you guys on your ethnic clothes on Saturday.
All right, there's the invitation for everyone to come to this Festival of Lights happening in Las Vegas coming up on Saturday, October 23rd. We hope to see you there. ACDC will also be part of this event. Should be a very colorful, beautiful, and just cultural performances that I think a lot of people will enjoy. So thank you so much for all of our guests today joining us here on this episode of Family in Focus. And thank you for listening and thank you for watching. And we'll see you again next week.
Thank you. Thank you, Pachami.